Hey YouTube, Q here, and I've got some exciting things to talk about. Not only are Pasta and I traveling to Anaheim for BlizzCon in just a few days, but I got approved for a media pass, so I'll be delivering content from the event. Most of it will be here right on my YouTube channel, so make sure you're subbed to keep updated. As you're probably aware, I focus primarily on World of Warcraft Classic content, so that's where my event coverage is gonna lie. I may or may not mention some retail updates, we'll see what we get, but odds are it'll be mostly Classic focused. Let's take a look at the WoW schedule that was released just a few days ago. So we've got Day 1 and Day 2, and on Day 1, which is Friday, the doors open at 10 a.m., this is all Pacific time, 11 a.m. is the opening ceremony, and the first WoW event starts at 1:30 p.m., and it's titled WoW, What's Next? And this is going to be primarily focused on retail because if you look at 3:30, 2 hours later, we've got WoW Classic, What's Next? And then on Day 2, we've got a deep dive at 12 p.m., we've got Arena Finals, Mythic Plus Showcase, and all that fun stuff. So Day 1 is going to be really the announcements, the big news, what's new, what's upcoming, what's changing. And Day 2 is going to be the competitions, like I said, the Arena Finals, Guild Clash. So if you're looking for everything new that's coming out, it's going to be Day 1. Again, at 1:30 is retail, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time is WoW Classic. Now, according to the full event schedule, it looks like WoW Classic has an entire hour dedicated to it, which is really, really exciting. So we've got Overwatch in between the two big WoW announcements, but what's really cool is that Hearthstone is at 4:30. So basically what I'm trying to say is, each section has its own hour. WoW Retail and WoW Classic each have at least an hour of time dedicated to each topic, and I thought that was very interesting that WoW Classic can take up as much time that Retail WoW has now. Like, what are they going to announce? Well, let's get into that. I have a few ideas. So let's start with Wrath Classic. We're currently up to the final content phase with the release of Icecrown Citadel. In original Wrath, patch 3.3.5 was added as a minor patch to add in the final raid Ruby's Sanctum and introduce cross-game chat using Battle.net. Essentially the final content patch. So to tie a nice little bow on Wrath Classic, my guess is we could see a release date for Ruby's Sanctum during BlizzCon, but then where do we go from there? So I had my doubts about Cataclysm Classic being announced. The community seems to be kind of divided on it. However, I'm almost certain they're going to release it now. And why is that, you ask? Well, I was browsing the Blizzard gear store, and lo and behold, I stumbled upon a Deathwing t-shirt that is releasing at BlizzCon. And on the website, it reads, "Introducing the World of Warcraft Deathwing t-shirt. Unleash Cataclysm style with our officially licensed Deathwing tee. The fearsome visage and intricate detailing capture the essence of Deathwing, a legendary force in the World of Warcraft universe. Display your passion for Warcraft, and show the world that you're ready to conquer the realms with this essential add-on to your gaming apparel." So, my first prediction, after of course Ruby's Sanctum release date, is that Cataclysm Classic is confirmed based on this t-shirt alone. And the t-shirt alone is entirely what I'm basing my prediction on. I don't have any insider knowledge, I haven't heard about any leaks, nothing like that. But because of the t-shirt, that's my guess. Let me know what you guys think about the t-shirt too, if that gives it away. Okay, now let's look at Hardcore. I haven't thought much about what could be announced for Hardcore servers, and I'm curious if any of you have ideas about that. I guess they could potentially drop a specialized server of some kind, I'm not really sure. I think it's still too soon, but they could potentially announce a TBC Hardcore expansion down the line, depending on the server population and interest and all that. I know before official servers came out, there was still quite a little bit of HC going on TBC realms, so it'd be interesting to see where that goes. As for Era, I think Era has been kind of serving as a testing ground for my next prediction. I mean, they implemented a new PvP ranking system, and there's always a few minor tweaks and updates here and there. I think Era will remain as is, a great final destination for lost hardcore characters, and just straight up classic content. I don't foresee fresh classic Era servers happening soon, but what I do predict is Classic Plus. The clues are all around us. During the Hardcore announcement, Agron mentioned it won't be called Psalm 2. Chris Metzen is back as the Executive Creative Director of Warcraft, and will be speaking at BlizzCon. I just mentioned the new PvP ranking system, I think the Classic team is listening and sees how popular Classic is and are very interested in running with it. And here's the thing, why not do it? You'll never know unless you go for it. It could be really well received, and it could just not hit the mark. But I'd rather them try to create some new level 60 content, put it out there, and see how it is rather than not. Season of Mastery was a step in that direction. A good starting ground to look at that I would are the updates that were applied in the TBC pre-patch. But before I go over that, let me first go over the things that I wouldn't want to change in Classic Plus. Obviously, keep the level cap at 60. Anything higher than that isn't Classic. It's TBC. But then again, what if they added in some new high-level zones? Would 65 be a viable max level? Maybe I'm starting to question it. But I definitely don't think the level cap should be raised to 70, that's for sure. Leave it at 60, maybe 65, question mark? Still thinking about that one. On that topic, I think mounts should still only be purchasable at level 40. Again, that's how it was in Classic. I know they lowered it in TBC, but just leave it as is. Again, with TBC, I don't think we should have Blood Elves or Draenei, although I'm torn. It would be cool for both factions to experience having Shaman and Paladins, but maybe we could have other races incorporated to include that. Keep world buffs, it's a staple of Classic. I think they should definitely keep world buffs in the game. I don't really like how they removed it in SOM, but I think it was a good experiment. There's just something about the culture of Classic that revolves around world buffs. It helps people leveling, it helps people in raids. I mean, have you seen Stormwind recently from Hardcore when an Onyxia head is about to drop? It's absolutely bonkers and just adds such a unique element to the game. It really makes the servers feel alive. Keep raid sizes as 40-man and 25-man. These are a lot of little changes, but just some things off the top of my head that I would like to see remain the same. But I'm not gonna lie, a flex raid would be kinda cool. There's a bunch of specifics with classes too, but things that I would like to see focused on: itemization and dungeon loot improvements. For example, if you currently run Stockades in Classic era, unless you get lucky, none of the bosses really drop any loot in there. In the TBC pre-patch, however, as I mentioned earlier, that was fixed, so many dungeon drops in-game were tweaked and improved upon. This I agree with. Add in heroic dungeons. We've tested it out in Wrath with Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and whatever else they added in. Adding heroic dungeons and perhaps even raids would be so fun. Can you imagine heroic Strathome or heroic Molten Core? I mean, sign me up. If they're not sure with what content to go with, I would say finish previously unfinished content, such as the Karzan Crypts, Hyjal, the Stormwind Sewer Instance Raid Portal thingy, Old Ironforge, the Ironforge Airport, Grim Batal. How about the Ashara Crater Battleground? I would say start from there and then experiment with new content. Minor class tweaks. This is a slippery slope because if you start messing around with one class too much, people will complain. Other classes could get imbalanced, it's a whole mess. I would just like to see certain things, like for one, give Paladins a taunt. I don't care if you don't add anything else to Paladins. A taunt should be the #1 priority. Sure, adding in Crusader Strike or making Ret more viable would be a bonus, but if I had to choose one thing, definitely a taunt. But in that same breath, make some tweaks to Boomkins, Shadow Priest, Ellie Shaman, so they don't go out of mana 5 seconds into a boss fight. Maybe a little boost to Feral Druids, Enhancement Shamans too. But again, it's a slippery slope because once you start tweaking one class, then you really have to look at all the others, and then that's where you get into a whole mess of going back and forth in a seesaw. But anyway, those are just a few of my ideas. I know it's a lot easier said and listed in a video than actually done. I've always liked the Classic team, and I wish them a ton of success. I would love to play any sort of new Classic content they come up with. Sign me up for the beta? Beta stream when? Anyway, I think we'll be hearing a lot about this at BlizzCon, so I'm really excited to hear what they'll announce. Those are my predictions, let me know what you think, and we'll find out for sure in just a few days. Thanks for watching, throw me a sub on YouTube if you enjoy this content, and expect more soon. Follow me on X too for more BlizzCon updates. Yes, I called Twitter X, you know, I'm getting with the times. But follow me on there because I'll be posting updates from BlizzCon as well. And that's all for now. Thanks again and have a great day.